Okay, we're working this motor mount here. We're trying to figure out what is square and how to machine it. So right now I'm coming off our flat surfaces here, which go against the frame. You figure that's going to be square, you would hope. So I squared this surface up here first, and then I measured my hole locations here and here. And these were 13 or 15 thou out of square. So they were cocked. You can see how this is thinner than this side over here by about 40 thou. So that's not a good sign. So then I go down and check these holes, and these are off by 22 thousandths for being square. So okay, well let me center up off this bottom here, and hopefully these two would be centered off of this, and then I can figure out where this is going to be, how much I'm going to cut it. And of course, this surface here matches this surface within 2 thou. So they cut this and this together, and they're both way the hell off. So now what I'm doing, I'm trying to figure out how much offset I got between these holes here, so I get an idea where my squareness, because this the year I'm going to try to register off of on the case. So this thing has 5 thou angle to it, cut like this, or it's this direction. It's higher on the bottom and here. So now I'm checking this one, and we're getting worse, not better. So I kept jamming my indicator tip in. So this one here is now 0. Right here, you can see how it's sitting down there, and I'm at 9.4 thou. I had to move the table 10 thousandths basically to keep from jamming my cutter and my tip in, and see I'm not even cutting over here, or touching, I mean not cutting. So now I got to move this in. I crank my handle in here until it touches, get my 0 point, and you can see how it's got a couple thou taper just in that distance right there. It's only 100 thou tall. And we're back within 2/10 of where we were. So we got 10 thou taper between here and here. That's only about 5/8 of an inch. That's really, or actually, let's see, it's bigger on the bottom, so it's cocked like this. So it's like this. So this isn't even square. This is what the motor mount comes off on the motor mount surface. So when you tighten up this against the case, your motor's sitting not square in the motor. It'll stick. If you had in the frame, it'd be like this. Thing's going to be cocked way the hell over here, because this isn't square. Nothing's square on this damn thing. So this U.S. made parts suck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to indicate these surfaces here in close, and I'm going to have to skim these with a end mill. And I'm not sure I'm going to skim this one because I have to use a real small end mill to get close to here. And I'll just cut it with an end mill, which is one of these over here. This is an end mill. So we'll just skim it across the surface right there. And we'll skim this across the surface this way, which will square cut this. And these holes here. And all of that will be square off the bottom here because the head of my machine is squared to my table. So that should square everything all up. So, like I said, the quality of these parts is severely lacking. You would expect a lot better quality from a company like Pingle. It's a racing company, but there you go. It doesn't matter where you buy stuff anymore. It's pure crap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come off my bolt holes. That's one thing I got to come off of right now to set my alignment. These two here is what's supporting the case. If I put that in the frame over there, this is off the surface of the register on the frame. It's supposed to be hitting against this surface here. And that's supposed to support the frame square when you dump it into the frame. So that'll be these lips right here. And of course this mount's not even touching on those. Not even close. So the only thing we got to square off is our 2 bolts, and you're not supposed to square off of bolts. That's not the best way of doing things. So the only way I could fix that is I'd have to weld this back up and remachine it, but as soon as I heat this up, these inserts will completely melt and come out, and it'll be junk, so I can't do that. So I'm going to come off these 2 bolt holes. I'm going to square these 2 holes up here, and these 2 up here were slightly different than these 2, but well, whatever, it's close enough. We'll give it a few thou. So I'm going to do a little double check in here and figure out how I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you where all the errors are going to be. But basically, once I center these are going to be all off. Probably for the offset this way. We already know they're tapered, and then of course this is going to be way the hell off here. Hopefully these holes here are not going to be close to what these are. And we're already flat, so that's the key thing. We got to come off some kind of surface to start from. And we definitely want the motor mount sitting in the frame square. That's important. Now I haven't checked the height from this surface up to here to see if these are square. That'll be the next thing. So I'm going to do a bunch of checking here. Try to see what the hell's even close on this mount to being right, and then that'll determine how I'm going to try to fix it. So I'll come back in a little bit once I figure all this out. Alright, we're back on the motor mount. It's been an hour plus of screwing around with the damn thing. So after doing all the hole checking, all playing around back and forth, I've gone back to where this is straight right here. When you come off the OD of the insert here, and you get those within 1 thou of each other, this is within 3 thou being straight here. So that's pretty damn close considering you're coming off a piece of stamped steel down here. I went and checked the holes up here, and they were 10 thou out. I went back and checked the ID, which is this red insert part, and it was off by 15 from what the OD of the steel part is. I figured the steel part is more accurate than the insert part, nylon piece, so that's what I went with. So come to the conclusion, we're going to cut these here until they're straight, and I'll have to put shim washers between here and the case to bring it back to the right spot, depending on how much I got to cut off. I don't know how much I got to cut. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to use this long end mill right here to face it off at an angle. This is obviously 90 degrees. So I have to have something long enough to clear, the cutter to clear here and clear over here. I could move this, but I can't move this. So we're going to wind up cutting in this corner down here in the back right there. We're going to skim it right here, and this side should just face straight off. I don't remember which one is which, so I'm going to touch off on this one. I'll touch off on this one, see what the difference is, and that'll tell me how much I got to cut. We'll see if it works. So the part that was wrong before, I thought, I guess is not the part that's wrong now. So there we go. Alright, so let's see what happens here. Deep enough to clear. It's going to be about there. We're definitely going to be cutting in this mount, but it's 3/4 of an inch thick right there, so I think we'll be okay. Mark that my felt tip a little bit further down to make sure I'm cutting it all off. Alright, let's see what happens here. Make sure it's not a backwards rotating end mill. Sitting right now. So we're hitting on the top. You don't want to be putting your fingers anywhere near where it's cutting. So you can see how it's cut the red away right up there. And it hasn't cut the red on the bottom, so it's high on the top. So now I'm going to go ahead and move this in about 5 thou, do a skim cut, see what happens. That's about all we can do. And eventually we'll have enough to hopefully get this thing back on the bike where it'll work. That's always a fun part. Get my tripod set up here so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There we go. Alright, so hopefully, if you can see a little bit better. Okay, you Can't see me working, but you can see what's happening with that. Here's a little go backwards further. Cleaning nicely though. You can see get out of the way. Pull back a little bit. So you can see how I didn't cut here. I got to cut at least 100th thou deeper into this. We were just hitting here, so I'm going to cut them at probably more than 100, probably 150 at least. And you can see how it didn't quite clean right over here with the red. But that's enough, but that's your minimum, so I might go an extra 1/2 thou. So I re-zeroed my indicator up here. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that again. See what happens. Let's see where we're at. We'll go 150 extra. Zero it. Looks like we're going to need another 50 more. There's another 50. Yeah, fucking damn tripod. Yeah, try to get where you can kind of see a little bit. I'm cutting deeper. Right there. Lock it down. The extra thou, 1.7 thou. Should clean all the red off that area now. That one's good. Okay, we're going to move this back out a little bit. As I could have went a little bit deeper with the cutter. Camera's in the way. I'm going to go deeper now this way. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Okay, so we know which way it's taper now. It's 21 thou difference there. 26 thousandths I just moved it in from what this surface is. And this one's even deeper. You can see how I got half the red is still sitting there. And you see how this one's cutting different. This one is cutting on the top first, that one's cutting on the bottom first. Nothing like being close, eh? Okay, so we know we gotta go a couple more on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what's going on with this other one. And we're not even hitting that. What a shocker. Another 15 thou more. And that's not going to clean either, it looks like. Nope. She wasn't clean, not even close. There's 5 thou. Actually 5.4 thou. And not quite enough to clean it, but almost. Get a little bit more. 2 more thou. That should clean it all the way across. Yep, that looks good. Alright, so we got our 0 number. Back it up 5 thou. Oh, that fin's going to get cut away there. I fed that down once it started moving, so I'm going to cut that rib away. And go back through that same cut again. See what I'm doing here. So I'm feeding this handle down here as I'm feeding across the table. Okay, I'm going to cut 5 thou, so it'll be the same cut as the other side. Try not to cut that fin too much. See how it cuts there. there's that one. Now I need to go hit the other side. Back to saw 5. Probably over 30 cal cut right now. That's good. Okay, now we give it 5 thou more. Zero it out with the rest of them. Whoop. Alright. Those are all cut equally now. There's a couple little spots right here I need to clean them up a little bit. Now see, this is climb milling. It's really rough compared to these other two, which is, I mean, this is conventional. These are climb milling. That has to do with the direction the cutter is turning when you cut on these. Big difference in finish. So, alright, so now I'm going to take this out. We're going to put it in the motor and see if it's anywhere, looks close to where it should be. Because obviously, we just cut a bunch of metal off this thing. Alright. Okay, so get this over here. Oop. Pull that back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you have to work on a little bit of filing right here on the edge. Oop, right up here, knock that edge off. So I'm going to smooth this up a little bit here. But I couldn't get in there with the cutter all the way because it's cutting too much metal out where I don't want to cut it. You have to come back and just lightly hit this stuff. Also smooth up that finish a little bit. This one here should be good. Yep. Want to deburr the edge a little bit though. I don't like sharp edges around here. I gotta make sure this isn't going to hit in here on the case because there's a lot of metal in there that might get in the way. Okay, last thing is you want to deburr these holes a little bit. Now before these were binding up really bad, so I don't know what the difference is going to be. And I don't know what these surfaces here are going to be relative to this. They're probably not consistent. Which is going to be a whole other problem. So let's see how far out this is. You want it to be square. So that's 75. Oh, look at that. That's shocking. It's actually the same number. See, we're about 8. 8. It's 35. Let's see, 30, 33, 34. And out here, 31. So that's the worst one. That's pretty damn close because those are way the hell out of square when we started. So that's a good sign. That means this side was cut square. So maybe these holes are drilled straight now because they were caulk and binding up before. Let's see. There's 3/8. Let's see what size reamer they used in here. It's a 32nd oversize. Yep, appear to be good. All right. All looks good. That's sharp over there too. See, the fingers you save might be your own. Most likely it will be. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Let's go take a look and see what we got on the other over here. Go mock up. Hey, it's 9 o'clock. Not bad for Christmas Eve, huh? Almost. That'd be tomorrow. Okay, so let's see how this works. As expected, we're definitely low. Holes line up pretty close. So you can see the holes right here appear to be lined up pretty good. So that's a good sign. Definitely got to put some kind of a spacer, I think, underneath the mounter mount. Their offset's going to be pretty far off, I bet. And we'll see what that does. Let's see, I guess I could leave that on there. Gravel on my workbench. It looks like gravel on my workbench. Dowel pin's doing. That's the dowel pin in there. Flat table. Yep. Wonder what we're hitting on. I'm sure we're hitting on something. Okay. I know what I'm hitting on. I bet you I'm hitting way under here. Yeah, the hole's definitely off. We had to grind that out before, remember, so probably not the best place to. Okay, so Need to put some little shim washers in there. No initial impact marks anywhere to see. That's a good sign. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Get me some thin washers. Okay, we're back. So I got me different washers here. These are a grade 5 washer here. These are 70 thou thick. This is another aircraft washer. This one's a 30 thou thick, a little bit less than half. And I got some regular USS washers, or SAE washers. And these are probably about 70. Yeah, they're 65, 62. So I'll put these on the top. Unless we need something that's a little bit less than the other, but probably not. Okay, I'm not sure what I need, so I'm going to stick these thicker ones in here. We did cut quite a bit off. And let's see what we got going on here. Let's see, gotta make sure this is going to clear also. So first thing I do is make sure we cut enough. It appears we got enough clearance, shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Down. And this is still binding up on something like it always does. Except it's getting worse, not better. Still not sure exactly what's that binding on. Okay. Flush looks pretty good. Looks like it's centered up there halfway decent. I can't do it, stupid tripod. So you see how the bolt hole is now in the middle of the bracket more or less now. We're slightly high probably. I don't know why that thing's out of focus. So it could be, this one looks like it's a little bit low, this one looks a little high, so these are pretty close. If both holes are off, you know you're close, right? They're off opposite directions. So, alright, either way the bolt now goes right in the hole like it's supposed to instead of rubbing. That should recenter the motor where it needs to be. 3 washers on there, protect our mount. We didn't have those before. Very little movement here because it's tight on this one stud for some reason. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on these two. Tighten this one up here because it's the tightest one here. Should have when you do the bolt. Didn't see anything happen. That's a good sign. Before we're getting a half a turn of collapsing going on, we tighten this bolt up over here. Boom, it's right there. Right there. Right there. We'll do these two. And it appears that we are pulled up pretty tight against the case like it's supposed to now. See how it's right up in there, it looks like. I don't see any real gap on there. I don't know why this thing doesn't focus in correctly, but oh well. Let me get the camera to keep it focused. There we go. Maybe a little better. Okay, so you got those two in there. So there's our sheet of paper right here. Okay, you see how it goes underneath it there? Okay. We still got just a little bit of clearance on that. Yeah, excuse me. Do that one. Do that one. And do that one. It's got drag on it. So we're within a few thou. That's it. Drop everything on the floor. I got a good view of the floor shot there. I'll pull back a little bit. Tight. Tight. Well, when we did that, we had a big gap over here, remember? And see how this one, we only have just a little bit of a gap there right now. Still in there. Still in there. It pulls down the rest of the way. That's probably in this case itself here. I've got that little error. But, anyway, it's a hell of a lot better than it was. At least now it's within normal specs, which is they all bind up equally. Make sure these holes look decent. Yep. Pretty close, just like before. Yeah. Gotta move the camera, move the case. So there you go. So they're pretty close on the two holes. So that's pretty good. All right. So that's a big improvement. All you do is remember you got to have those washers underneath the motor mount on this job, or we're going to be screwed. Okay, now for the important part is, does it fit in the frame? Which is a whole other series of bolts. Okay, so I'm going to go put this over in the bike, lock it up in the bike and see if this lines up over there. So we'll be back.